Hello, everyone. Welcome back to JSA TV and JSA Podcast, where we're covering the latest stories, trends, and innovations in the digital infrastructure industry with leaders. So I'm here with one of those such leaders, with Omer Wilson, your Chief Marketing Officer of Qarbon Technologies, who are a very quite new company. You were just telling me you're coming up on your 1 year anniversary or birthday.
Right.
So we're very excited to chat with you and get the latest with what's going on. So thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's just dive right in. So could you tell us a little bit about, since it is such a new company for the folks who don't know Qarbon yet, can you tell us a little bit about what you all are doing, why you were founded, and what your mission is?
Absolutely. Yeah. Great to be with you. So thanks for the opportunity. Qarbon Technologies, very exciting startup, Singapore based, been around just coming up to a year now, but really looking to transform the data center industry. So, this multi-billion global digital infrastructure industry, which is driving everything from AI, cloud, all of the revolutions we've been through. But interestingly, some of the layers within the data center infrastructure is still very manual. And that's where Qarbon's coming in. So Qarbon Technologies is really looking at its simplest level to automate the data center and the customer interface. And that's really from a operation perspective. So really the data center about the data center. So any of the ordering going on between data centers and their customers, any of the remote hand access, energy usage, energy data, all of this data that goes between users of data centers and the data center operators themselves. That's where Qarbon, with its automated API layer, is looking to really automate that, building incredible efficiencies, and also from an energy reporting perspective, really transform that in terms of getting real-time critical data for customers around what energy they're using within data centers. So any of the data that goes between, from a transactional perspective, Qarbon is looking to build that from its platform layer.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that's a great update and overview. And, you're hitting on some of the key topics that we talk to data center operators about all the time, right? Automation, energy reporting. So definitely some hot topics there. So could you dive a little bit more into the challenges related to complexity, cost, security, and observability in data center operations that you all are solving?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're, as we said, we're sort of 6 months to a year, coming up to the year anniversary of the company itself. But the area, there's a lot of areas that we will and can focus on, but it's really part of the roadmap. It's going to be difficult for our size company to solve everything from day one. So the initial release, which is called Qarbon Lattice, is focusing on cross-connect ordering. So that's an area which we immediately see, especially around network providers, telcos, when they put their content into these large data centers across the globe. The cross-connect ordering process is still very manual. So there's a lot of issues there around, reconciling bills, making sure the orders are correct. So really the Qarbon Lattice automation layer is creating huge efficiencies there on both sides, not just the telcos, but also the data center operators as well. So they both have different interfaces and different API layers, and we're translating that between them. So I think that's an immediate area we're focusing on. But then there's so much else, as I said, that comes after that. So smart hands, remote hand access, shipping and inventory access in data centers, and then the whole ESG area. This idea around getting to a scenario where you can have real-time data around your temperature, your humidity. What are your servers doing that day for multiple customers between the DC operator and the customer is going to be hugely valuable. Not just for customers actually, but also reporting up to governments. We're hearing that more and more. They're looking for real-time information as AI ramps up. What is the energy usage in these different facilities? How efficiently are you running your servers? So that sort of real-time data reporting is something we're going to focus on. And probably the last thing to mention again around what is the problem we're solving is also downtime issues. So you hear a lot about downtime issues, and the immediate thing that jumps to mind is that it's more redundancy needed. Well, sometimes it's actually more automation may be needed to actually know how your servers are running, what sort of backups you've got in different parts of the world. We look at it rather than an infrastructure issue, more as around an automation and data issue between customers and data center operators. So it's a very critical area if you think of it from that perspective, actually reducing downtime by having better data around how you're running your servers and equipment.
Yeah, I love that. That's a really interesting point. Automation and data as a a solution
Yeah.
for downtime. Excellent. So, is there anything else that you'd like to share about Qarbon's approach to the transformation of data centers, really taking the data center industry into a new era, right?
Yeah, I get to see. It's always. And I come from a data center background, and was being in data center from the operate side, and now in the startup world. It's always been an industry that's very niche. I've spent a lot of my last 10 years explaining what a data center is to people, but people are getting that even more now because it's so critical, right? But from a Qarbon perspective, it's that idea of looking at the operating system for a data center. I think that's where we're coming into it now from an automation perspective. That as AI makes automation so intrinsic in our daily lives, the data center and their customers who drive everything around AI is within data centers. That needs to become automated, much more automated than it is today. And people don't realize that. The data is hugely automated because it's algorithms are automating everything. But the actual infrastructure still has many layers that are manual. So it's really that building an operating system for the data center world and becoming that operating system for DCs and operators and their customers.
Right. So I think if we had to sum up this conversation in one word, it would probably be that A word, right? Automation.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, perfect. Well, that's a great place for us to close out the conversation. But this is really fascinating, and folks should keep an eye on your space. It's,
yes,
as you
carbontech.io for any more information on the company.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Omer. It was great to chat with you today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. And thank you to all of our viewers for hanging out with us today at Capacity Europe live on JSA TV. Happy networking.